In 1996, ballot Proposition 215 was passed in the state of California. That gave residents of the Golden State, with approved conditions, the right to possess and use marijuana for medical purposes.
Prop 215 marked the first step in what has become a marathon of events leading America to where we are today. Now, with Delaware legalizing in 2011, 16 states now have adopted the new law.
Since then, medical marijuana dispensaries have been popping up like teen acne all over the West Coast. But with each state operating under its own rules and regulations, many people are still confused. How do all these dispensaries work? How do they operate? And what about the practical implications here? Is medical marijuana really letting people live better, more enjoyable lives? Or are we just legalizing pot for the nation's stoners to get high? Join me, Sean Riggin, as I take to the streets to tackle those questions and more. Welcome to Potluck, an inside look at America's new medical marijuana club. Sadly, Pennsylvania isn't home to any medical marijuana dispensaries, so we're going to check out a local glass shop instead. Where the hell did you park? Take it off for you? A little better? Look a little nicer? So we're walking glass on glass.
Smoke weed every day.
Wondering what it's like for Andrew operating a business that is probably frowned upon by a lot of local authorities, and I certainly like it. So we're going to go in now and take a look. So I'm here with Andrew Steckman. He's the owner and operator of Glass on Glass. Been operating here for about 8 months, but his family has had businesses up and down 9th Street in South Philly for over 160 years. So he knows the area really well, and we're here just to get an idea of what the ins and outs of a head shop are like, what's it like to operate one. As far as running this kind of a business, was this something that you had to decide to kind of move away from your family, or were they kind of on board with it too?
I've actually had a really warm reception from the community. South Philly has never had a store like this. We've had cigar shops and whatnot, and you could probably buy like, you know, a weird, sketchy glass pipe and like, you know, one of
very sketchy.
Yeah, very sketchy, you know, glass pipes in one of the convenience stores, one of the corner stores, but they've never actually had like a dedicated glass shop.
What would you say is the hardest part about owning a head shop?
It's developing an eye. To develop an eye for what's going to sell, for what people like, because it's one thing to think about what you like, but it's totally a whole different other ballgame when you have to start thinking about what your customers going to like. Your glass pipe is a conversation in of itself when you're using it, you're passing it with your friends. You know what I mean? You put your mouth on it. It's very, very personal, so people are very, very particular.
The pieces here that you sell are locally made, would you say?
97%.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's a lot of glass artists in the hood, too. At least 5 or 6 guys that I buy from.
Do you yourself smoke marijuana? You do? Okay. What are your views on the legality of all this?
I think there's way too much money to be made, especially in a time where economic hardships are, you know, an everyday thing. To open up a whole new industry that could mean billions of tax dollars and billions of revenue for their proprietors, I think is just ridiculous to stop that.
What would you say is your favorite piece to use when you're smoking marijuana yourself?
My Pyrology oil rig.
Explain that.
So I have one right here. This company is actually really cool because they were an offshoot of Philadelphia, which is a really famous Philadelphia company. 2 of their former production blowers broke off, and with one of their buddies, who was an industrial designer, decided to start this company. They called it Pyrology. This is one of their new pieces. It's called the oil rig. It is different than any other pipe I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. How does it work?
Well, you have your first stage on the bottom here, which is about 60% thicker than the rest of the glass, 7 millimeters thick, and it's actually hollow. So when after lighting, the smoke would enter through here, fill up this hollow base, and then go up through that up stem that's in the center, down and out through these little circ diffusion marks, and then up through this neck piece. The base being thicker makes it bottom heavy, so when you tip it over, it always rights itself. The skinnier neck doesn't allow for a lot of space for water to splash up, so you don't really get water in your mouth. Plus this mouthpiece is just like, kind of like a trumpet. It feels like, you know, intuitive. When you mix the talents of Philadelphia trained glass blowers with the know-how of an industrial designer, this is the type of stuff they make. That's why I go nuts over this company.
Yeah, has there ever been like a cruiser rolled by, wanted to come in and check up and make sure you weren't doing anything illegal?
They do. When I first opened, they did come in at first, asked to see my license, and after that, they pretty much told me, you know, as long as I stay away from the seedier type of products, digital scales and little bags and cleansers, if I stood away from those products, they didn't really care what I did.
if the laws were to change, you would seek out how to become a legal dispensary right away?
Immediately. There are people out there who seriously could use the benefits of it. You have probably some of the greatest cancer treatment centers in the country or the world in Pennsylvania, but yet one of the drugs that probably would help cancer survivors the best is illegal here. And for some other reasons. I feel that if it was legal, maybe they wouldn't go down the roads of some other more devious kinds of roads to get high, you know what I mean? Like, if you could, smoke a joint and drink a beer, I don't think too many people would, pay these guys to send a submarine from Colombia full of, crazy drugs,
You would think.
And now for the myth segment.
How do you feel about the marijuana myth of the munchies? Do you feel affected by that at all, or?
It's not even a myth, man. It's a full-blown fact.
Full-blown fact.
That is a full-blown fact. That is
Right.
kind of the reason why they prescribe a lot of cancer patients to smoke marijuana, because it'll counteract the effect of the chemo, which makes you not hungry. They don't want to eat. They don't want to enjoy food. You know what I mean? But when you smoke, you really do enjoy it. So you get people to eat a little bit more.
Right on.
And that's why you see all the edible stuff.
There, yeah. Well, hey, Andrew, thanks a lot.
Anytime, man.
Awesome, man. I really appreciate the time.
Appreciate it, man. Anytime, dude. Hope you mentioned the name of the shop a couple times.
Oh, I definitely will.
And now it's turned to the streets to get the opinions of some local Philadelphians.
We're here with Matt Wirtz. It's hard to interview people about smoking weed. He's going to tell us a little bit of his own opinions on the legalization of marijuana. Hi, do you smoke weed? Yes, no, maybe. That's all it is. It's not hard. Matt.
Oh, that's it? I gotta go?
Let's go.
Oh, God. Alright. I think it's less harmful than alcohol.
This is my beverage.
There's no marijuana-related deaths from overdose. You can tax it and make money off of it. California make money off of it. I know it's medicinal, but I don't know what else to say.
No, those are all good things, man. Do you smoke marijuana yourself?
Not as much anymore.
What was the reason behind you smoking it?
It's a stress reliever. It's a way to relax. And I would just do it and then just go to sleep.
And now for the myth segment.
Are you a believer in the munchies? When you smoke marijuana, does it give you the
donuts
munchies?
I've eaten 11 donuts before after smoking.
What flavor?
Blueberry is my favorite. Blueberry cake.
They make blueberry donuts?
Blueberry cake, dude, yeah.
I didn't know that. That was real important. I'm glad you put it in.
Blueberry cake, you got the French crullers, Boston cream. No, I don't have any willpower when it comes to munchies.
I love your little tripod.
Alright, so we're here with Heather. She does not smoke marijuana, but she's not opposed to it.
I'm very pro-marijuana.
Pro-marijuana?
For someone who does not, it's just something that's just not for me. It can be for others. It's just never been for me. I'm a parent, but I don't smoke pot, but my baby's father doesn't. I don't really mind. One of the reasons I am so pro-marijuana is that maybe because I do work in this bar and I see what alcohol does to people, and I think it is way more destructive than pot. I would never think of anyone raising a fist when they're stoned, where something like alcohol or other intoxicants is pretty common. There's so many other things that resources could go to, as opposed to busting people.
Spending all this money on the drug war.
Yeah, because they're never going to win. It's never going to stop.
Yeah, it's like having a war on brown or red.
Yes.
You can't. It's impossible.
Or love.
Or love. Right.
It's not going to happen.
Okay. Heather, say goodbye to the camera.
Cheers.
Well, that's it for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed our time together. I know I did. Join us next week as we tackle Colorado. We'll be out there visiting the Giving Tree, one of the local dispensaries, where I'll be asking owner Adam Curtis what separates him from the competition.